In today's lesson, we're looking at how some famous Brazilians speak English. As a Brazilian myself, I am super excited to bring you this lesson today. We'll be looking at how they use vocabulary, grammar, and how they sound overall. The pronunciation and intonation. But before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button and bell down below because every week we put out lessons like this to help you understand your favorite movies, TV series, and interviews without getting lost, without missing the jokes, and without subtitles. So join our community of 7 million English learners by hitting the subscribe button right now and subscribing to the channel. Now let's get started. Gisele Bundchen is a model who has appeared on more than 1,200 magazine covers. She also played supporting characters in movies such as Taxi and The Devil Wears Prada. Gisele is involved with charitable activities and environmental work. In 2018, she published a book called Lessons: My Path to a Meaningful Life. In this clip, Gisele talks about being a morning person and being a mom.
You see, I'm a morning person. I actually like to wake up before the sun. I love...
Oh, that's great. I wish I was like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I used to be that person, but then it wasn't really working out for me so well, so I had to make a little adjustment.
Right.
So sometimes, we have to adjust. It's like, we are like, there's different cycles in our life, and when I was in my 20s, maybe I was going to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning, but now I'm a mom, I have, kids, they get up early in the morning, they need things, so I feel like if I can take care of myself, if I can put the oxygen mask on me first and do something for me first, then I'm a much better mom. I'm much more patient, I'm happier. Yeah, I don't know. I used to be that person, but then it wasn't really working out for me so well, so I had to make a little adjustment.
She uses a nice phrasal verb here. She says, I used to be that person, but then it wasn't really working out for me so well. This is the same as saying working. So you could say here, it wasn't really working for me, or it wasn't really working out for me. Sometimes we have situations like that where the preposition is not really necessary, to use the phrasal verb, but by using the preposition, the phrasal verb, it makes it sound more natural. She could have said, it wasn't really working for me, but the fact that she's saying it wasn't really working out for me makes her sound more natural. We also have an expression that goes to work something out. When you work something out, when you work it out, you solve a tricky problem or situation. Check out this example.
I'm gonna be a millionaire. How? Look, I don't have it all worked out yet, but it's gotta mean big money. Come on, identical hands. Again, I must go back to how.
Just learning random words without really checking the context is really not a good strategy. Let's take the phrasal verb work out, for example. This phrasal verb can be used in different situations and to say different things. That's why it's important for you to, when improving vocabulary, to always study vocabulary in context. And that's exactly why we have created the Fluent with Friends course, so you can learn English vocabulary in context. I wish I had something like that back in the day when I was still at an intermediate level. I would watch TV series to practice my English, but in the end, I had to learn English pretty much by myself. If I'd had something like the Fluent with Friends course back then, my English would have improved much faster. This course guides you through every episode of the first 2 seasons of Friends, contextualizing and teaching you the most important vocabulary, pronunciation, grammar, and cultural aspects you need to know in order to take your English to the next level. Many academic studies even say that Friends is the best TV series out there to learn English with. So what are you waiting for? Don't wait any longer. You can try the course today for free by joining our 3-part masterclass. And to sign up is really simple. All you need to do is click up here or down in the description below, sign up, get started, and try the course. You will love it, I guarantee it. Now let's go back to the lesson.
Yeah, I don't know. I used to be that person, but then it wasn't really working out for me so well, so I had to make a little adjustment.
Look at this sentence. I had to make a little adjustment. The cool thing is that we can hear that Gisele speaks the segment really quickly. She goes, I had to make a little adjustment. I had to make a little adjustment. So notice that the D for had is pronounced as a stop consonant. So we say had. And then immediately I connect with the T for to. So had to. Also, the vowel in to is a schwa sound. So we would normally say t instead. Had to. I had to make. And then the article a, again, a schwa sound. Make a. And that's how she says it. So I had to make a little adjustment. Even the word adjustment, she doesn't pronounce adjustment with a true T in the end. She pronounces that T as a stop T. So she goes adjustment. Listen again.
So I had to make a little adjustment. When I was in my 20s, maybe I was going to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning, but now I'm a mom, I have, kids, they get up early in the morning, they need things, so...
Again, she speaks this phrase really quickly. She goes, they get up early in the morning. We also have a flap T sound here in T for get. So instead of get up, we go get up. But again, what I find interesting is that she speaks the segment really quickly, which is great.
They get up early in the morning. I feel like if I can take care of myself, if I can put the oxygen mask on me first and do something for me first.
She's using a nice analogy here in regards to the airplane and being a mom. Because if you have ever traveled by plane, you know that the protocol is, in case of an emergency or turbulence, you need to put the oxygen mask on you first, and then you are able to help other people, which makes sense, right? First to take care of you, so that then you can take care of other people.
Then I'm a much better mom. I'm much more patient, I'm happier.
This is an interesting point here also, because she goes, I'm much more patient, I'm happier. You see what she did there? This is called self-correction or self-awareness. This is really important for you to develop as an English learner. The ability to correct yourself, to listen if you make a mistake or if you are about to make a mistake. Because she says, I'm much more patient. That's correct. And then maybe she was about to say, I'm much more happier, but she stops right there. She goes, I'm much happier, which is the correct way. Now, my overall impression of Gisele Bundchen's English is, again, she has great English and really good flow. Yeah, she speaks some segments rather quickly with good flow and fluently, and that's awesome. The piece of feedback here, the constructive feedback that I wanted to give you based on this clip is be careful not to speak too fast sometimes. Yes, speaking fast is cool, but you don't want to speak too fast to the point that you are kind of joining the words too much together, like blending them too much together. Rodrigo Santoro is an actor who is known for his portrayal of Persian King Xerxes in the movie 300 and its sequel 300, Rise of an Empire. Other famous movies include Love Actually and Rio. He's appeared on the TV series Lost and on HBO's Westworld. In this clip, Rodrigo Santoro talks about his latest project, Wolfpack, a new series on Paramount+.
It's a pretty unknown territory for me. I've never done a supernatural, show. I've always thought about, well, maybe one day I'll do it. And I thought the script was great. I really liked the part that they offered me for in this show. But I think the viewers will be in for a great ride. But also, I think Wolfpack can play a big role, in normalizing conversations for the youth, about anxiety, about depression, isolation, especially after pandemic. So many people suffering from anxiety, and it's been stigmatized for so long, so it's very important to have those conversations. It's a pretty unknown territory for me. I've never done a supernatural, show.
Notice that Rodrigo says it's a pretty unknown. In this case, we have the adjective unknown and the word pretty before. The word pretty here acts as an intensifier. In this case specifically, it weakens the adjective. So the fact that you use pretty before unknown is decreasing the effect or weakening the adjective unknown. Look at this example. The movie was pretty good. If I say the movie was good, okay, the movie was good. Now the movie was pretty good, I am decreasing or making weaker the adjective good. So I understand that the movie was pretty good is like, the movie was good, but not so good. It was okay. Check out this example from the Big Bang Theory that illustrates this use of pretty very well.
Oh, hey, Leonard. Hi. So, how's it going?
Pretty good.
Just pretty good? I'd think you were doing very good.
I've never done a supernatural, show. I've always thought about, well, maybe one day I'll do it.
Nice pronunciation here. Notice that he doesn't say, I'll do it, but he says, I'll do it. I'll do it. So in this case, he pronounces the T in it as a stop T. It. Do it. I'll do it.
Maybe one day I'll do it. I really like the part that they offered me for in this show.
When talking about movies, series, or even plays, actors get parts, okay? The part is a character that an actor plays. In this case here, let's say that an actor gets the part to play a pirate in an action movie. You see, that's the part of the pirate. We also have the expression to get the lead in a movie. If you get the lead in a movie or series, you are the protagonist. You play the main character of that story. Check out this example from Friends where Joey gets the lead in a movie.
Okay. Just got off the phone with Estelle, and guess what?
I got the lead in the movie!
Oh, you got the lead in the movie? That's amazing! What's the movie about?
Oh, yeah, it's called Shutter Speed. It's really cool, yeah.
But I think the viewers will be in for a great ride, but also...
This is a great expression, to be in for a ride. He says the viewers will be in for a great ride. That is an exciting ride, okay? In other words, he's saying that people who watch the series can expect lots of excitement from it. This expression can change depending on the word you use before ride. For example, you can say, it's been a wild ride. In this case, it's been a crazy ride, all right? Or you can even say, it's been a rough ride. That means it's been a hard, difficult ride. Check out this example from Better Call Saul.
Kim, it's been a rough ride. I've been thinking a lot, and we should probably just check out and go home.
But also, I think Wolfpack can play a big role, in normalizing conversations.
There's a nice grammar point here because he says Wolfpack can play a big role in normalizing conversations. Notice that we have the preposition in and the verb normalize. The rule here is when you have a preposition and a verb after the preposition, the verb is using the ing form. He says in normalizing. All right? Look at these examples. I'm interested in watching old movies. I'm good at playing guitar. Keep on walking. Which option below shows only prepositions? Fake, after, with, before, of, from, by, stop, without.
But also, I think Wolfpack can play a big role, in normalizing conversations for the youth.
The word youth refers to young people. For example, the youth needs to hear this. In other words, young people need to hear this. You can also say, in my youth. This is a more formal way to say, in my younger days when I was young. Check out this example.
Loki's rage followed me here, and your people paid the price. And now again. In my youth, I courted war.
Normalizing conversations for the youth, about anxiety, about depression, isolation, especially after pandemics.
One interesting thing I find about Rodrigo's English is that he pronounces the schwa sounds very nicely. Notice that he goes, depression. Can you hear the schwa sound there? Depression. Shun. So he goes depression, isolation, shun again. So he makes the schwa sounds very well.
About anxiety, about depression, isolation. About anxiety, about depression, isolation. Especially after pandemics, so many people suffering from anxiety, and it's been stigmatized for so long, so it's very important to...
The word stigmatized is a verb, and it comes from stigma. Stigma means prejudice. So to stigmatize means to look at something in a disapproving way, with prejudice.
It's been stigmatized for so long, so it's very important to have those conversations.
Notice that he doesn't say important, but he says important. Important. This sounds very American, and it's a very advanced sound actually, because what he's doing here is we have the T, the vowel, and the N. What we have to do to make the sound is we have to eliminate or cut out the vowel. There is no vowel sound to be pronounced, so the vowel disappears. And then the T before is a non-released T. When I say the letter T, ta, I release my tongue. My tongue goes up and down. And then when it goes up and down, you have this t sound, T. So to make this sound, you cannot release the T. You have to go import. You see, my tongue is kind of up, but it stops there. Import. And then I continue the sound by now making it with my nose to pronounce the N. It's a Putting it together, I have important. So my overall impression about Rodrigo Santoro's English is that he has great English. He has really good command of vocabulary and pronunciation. He uses a wide range of words and expressions. One piece of feedback that I would give you as a learner, as a viewer, based on this clip is watch out for filler words. Filler words are, it's okay to use them, but try not to use them so much in your communication. Ayrton Senna was a racing car driver who won the Formula One World Drivers' Championship 3 times. He is ranked the 5th most successful driver of all time in terms of race wins and held many other racing records during his career. In this clip, he accepts the award for International Racing Driver of the Year. The interviewer then asks him about an apparent disagreement he'd had with a fellow team member. Let's watch it.
I keep learning every day, about many things in life, and one thing that I have learned lately is that you should monitor very carefully your words, particularly if it's not your native language. But I'm afraid that at that occasion, in the truck, on the back of the truck of McLaren, I was not monitoring my words at all. So we had a particular moment there, but I think we now know each other well enough to understand some of the frustrations that we both go through at different times in different ways, and I think we try to get the best out of each other, and I have to. You should monitor very carefully your words, particularly if it's not your native language.
All right, so we have something interesting here. He says, you should monitor very carefully your words. The order of the words here is not really ideal, okay? The ideal order here would be, you should monitor your words very carefully. That's a better way to structure this sentence, okay? Also, the word monitor is really formal, okay? So a more casual way to say this here could be, for example, you should watch your words, you should mind your words, or even you could say, you need to be careful with what you say.
But I'm afraid that at that occasion, in the truck.
Again, he uses the word occasion here, which is also more formal, okay? And this is really interesting because in English, we have vocabulary that have Anglo-Saxon origin and vocabulary that have Latin origin. Brazilian Portuguese is a Latin language. It comes from Latin. So for us Brazilians, these words that he's using here, monitor, occasion, it's easy for us to know them because they are very similar to how we would say in Portuguese. It's important to mention here that these words in English, since they come from Latin, they are more formal, more academic, okay? So if you want to sound more casual in your day-to-day communication, try not to use these kinds of words because they are more formal. Let me give you some examples. We have the word fast, Anglo-Saxon, and rapid, Latin. Rapid is more formal than fast. We also have allow, Anglo-Saxon, permit, from Latin. If you want to be more casual in this context here, maybe instead of saying at that occasion, he could have said at that moment. It's not a problem, all right, because we still understand what he's saying. I'm just pointing out this difference between formal English and informal English, Anglo-Saxon vocabulary versus Latin vocabulary, all right?
I was not monitoring my words at all.
Notice that he pronounces the T here for at as a true T. He goes at all, which is okay. We understand what he's saying. And in British English specifically, probably you would hear a British person speaking with a T, with a true T here as well. Now, in American English, this T usually becomes a flap T. So we hear at all, at all, at all. Okay?
I was not monitoring my words at all. I was not monitoring my words at all. We now know each other well enough to understand some of the frustrations that we...
It's important to point out the correct pronunciation of this word here, because the word is frustration, okay? That's the correct way to pronounce this word. So we go frus, again, schwa sound, frus, and then frustrate, and then another schwa sound, shun. We have two schwa sounds here, frustration. That's the correct way to pronounce this word, okay?
Some of the frustrations that we understand some of the frustrations that we both go through at different times.
This is a great phrasal verb that he uses here. So, to go through means to experience. Usually, in this case, experiencing something bad or difficult. Check out this example from Grace and Frankie.
I'm just saying, it's harder for me.
You have no idea what I'm going through. I lost my best friend. You don't even like Robert.
And I think we try to get the best out of each other, and I have to.
This is an interesting case. He says, I think we try to get the best out of each other. I think what he's trying to say here is we try to bring out the best in each other. This expression, to bring out the best in each other or in someone, means to help someone develop or display his or her best qualities. So you encourage the other person to be better and to work on their qualities, their strengths. So you bring out the best in that person. And I think that's what he's trying to communicate here, even though the expression is not quite that, because he says, get the best out of each other. When you get the best of someone, that's an expression, you get the best of someone, this means you defeat this person in a competition, you gain advantage over someone, okay? So I think he's actually trying to communicate the first idea here. He's basically saying, yes, we had a little disagreement in the past, we had a fight, but now we try to bring out the best in each other. That would be a more appropriate way to use this expression here. So my overall impression on Ayrton Senna's English is that he had good operational English. You know, he was able to travel, to have an international career, a successful international career, by the way, as a racing car driver, and he could communicate at events. Sometimes not the best way, you know, there are some points here that we could improve, but overall, I would say that he was a good communicator in English. He had good communication skills. The piece of feedback for you that I want to give from this clip is pay attention to the order of the words, okay? The word order, how you structure your sentences. This is very important. Usually a typical sentence is subject, verb, and complement, all right? All right, it's the moment of truth now. It's time to watch all the clips again without subtitles and see how much you can understand without the subtitles. Can you understand them? Let's see.
You know, it's a pretty unknown territory for me. I've never done a supernatural, show. I've always thought about, well, maybe one day I'll do it. And I thought the script was great. I really liked the part that they offered me in this show. But I think the viewers will be in for a great ride. But also, I think 𝗙𝗏𝗿𝗏 can play a big role, in normalizing conversations for the youth, about anxiety, about depression, isolation, especially after pandemic. So many people suffering from anxiety, and it's been stigmatized for so long, so it's very important to have those conversations.
If something is stigmatized, it is looked at in an approving way, looked at in a disapproving way, looked at in a harmless way.
You see, I'm a morning person. I actually like to wake up before the sun. I mean, I love...
Oh, that's great. I would say I was like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I used to be that person, but then it wasn't really working out for me so well, so I had to make a little adjustment.
Right.
So sometimes, we have to adjust. It's like, we are like, there's different cycles in our life. And when I was in my 20s, maybe I was going to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning, but now I'm a mom. I have, kids. They get up early in the morning. They need things. So I feel like if I can take care of myself, if I can put the oxygen mask on me first and do something for me first, then I'm a much better mom. I'm much more patient. I'm happier.
Choose the correct option. He's too much taller. He's much more taller. He's much taller.
I keep learning every day, about many things in life. And one thing that I have learned lately is that you should monitor very carefully your words, particularly if it's not your native language. But I'm afraid that at that occasion, in the truck, on the back of the truck of McLaren, I was not monitoring my words at all. So we had a particular moment there, but I think we now know each other well enough to understand some of the frustrations that we both go through at different times in different ways, and I think we try to get the best out of each other. And
put the words in order to create a sentence. She sings this song beautifully. All right, now it's time for the comment of the day. And the comment of the day comes from Josiane. She left this comment on the Last of Us lesson that we did here on the channel about a month ago. And Josiane says, "Thiago, you really inspire me. When I listen to your good English pronunciation, being a Brazilian who learned it, I believe that other Brazilians can achieve the same great results." Josiane, thank you so much for the wonderful words. It makes me really happy. I appreciate it. And yes, guys, if I could do it, you can do it too. So if you are learning English as a second language, you can do it, and we are here to help you, all right? Keep learning, keep developing yourselves, and don't give up, okay? But now I want to ask you, what have you learned in today's lesson? Any ideas, any insights, or even questions? Is there anything here that I explained today that is still not clear? Leave a comment in the section below, right here, below, and I'm curious to see your responses or comments and your reactions to today's lesson, all right? So guys, awesome, you've made it until the end of the lesson. Great job, you rock. Don't forget to like this video, share this video with a friend who's also learning English, and subscribe to the channel in case you are not subscribed yet. And if you want to keep learning English while having a ton of fun, check out this lesson next.
Okay, Chandler Mom, there's only one banana nut muffin left.
Oh, well, order mine first.
Yeah, but I'm so much faster.
Give it to me.
No.
Give it to me.
Okay, you can have it.
There you go. Enjoy your coffee.
That was there when I got here.